All right, I'm gonna try this again for Cool Toolsday. I was gonna talk about thread cutting dies. So these are the kind of thing you usually find big box store, hardware store. It's either a hex or a round single one-piece die, and you put your bar in the vise, or you get your bolt with the messed up threads. You put this down over it, you turn, and it cuts. You can see there's a little taper leading in, and then the threads along the edge there. So, and then they will be marked. This one's start this side where the taper is, and this side is marked with the size. So there we are. This one's 5/16 18 standard thread. You can see the taper, little set screw, a little notch there. When you put it in the die stock, the set screw engages that to keep it from spinning around since it's round. Slightly nicer would be this J.M. Carpenter set. They're no longer in business, but these dies are adjustable. So this one's another 1024, but there is a little pin in there that will open and close. See how it's a little thinner on this side because the hole's bigger, and so that can spring the die open a little bit, and then if you back the wedge out, the die will spring shut. More common these days is to have a set screw like so to force the die open against the spring action. So that's pretty cool, and that design carries on into the same company. Carpenter made the same design in great big dies. So this is about 3 inches in diameter. The die stock for it's more than 2 feet long. There we go. You can see the whole thing. So these are smaller, but they are also split. You can see that they have been, they have extra bit there to thin this down so that they can flex and open and close. And man, that's a pretty die stock with the nice case hardening. So these have, this larger die stock has a guide on the back that will help you to get has a guide that will help you get the die square or in line with your rod that you are putting threads on. So that is cool. So if we go into other ways, the oldest way would be a screw plate. These are adjustable screw plates, so we're already not into the oldest way. I do have a small jeweler's screw plate, but it's at home, not here in the shop. So you'll just have to look that up on your own if you're curious. These have little tools. They're a handle with a tool steel insert that has threads cut in it. You can see the threads there. And then you would crank this down on the bar and then run it back and forth with lots of oil, and it would like half cut, half form the threads on your bar. These are kind of good for repairs, like you can clamp them on something below the damaged portion of the thread and back them off, and they'll clean up the dings in the threads. So I have used this one for that before, except the problem with this one is that, all right, you can see, if you look on this side, it is marked on the dies. This opening cuts 1/2 inch threads. This opening is for 3/4 inch bolts, and this opening is for 1 inch. But if you flip it over, it does 1/2 inch 12 TPI, 3/4 10, that's standard, and 1 inch 9. So the 12 and the 9 are much older standard, much older thread standard that you're not going to encounter very often anymore. And as a matter of fact, combined with the wrought iron handle, I'm guessing this bad boy here is pre-20th century. It's like 19th century tech right there. So then we get into 2-piece dies. This is set called the Reliable, back when they used to put names on things. Patented, where this is patented, I can't read that one. January 27th, 03, I believe that is. So these have 2 pieces. Actually, it's a 3-piece. The whole assembly is 3 pieces. It's the body, and it's got 2 cutters inside it. And then on the back, there's a guide. So see, this is marked 1/2 inch. So that opening there, they're different sizes for the different, that one's 9/16. It's a larger die. But so if you unscrew this guide, which is kind of a, I want to call it a nut, even though it screws in. You can see here's the two tool steel cutters that fit inside with the threads on them. And so those, you have a little, and they bear on these set screws inside. There you can see the set screw. And so you can adjust the cutters. You can push them in or loosen, back them off. And that makes these, you can get a little bit of adjustability, so you can make sure they will fit your work. So those go back in like so. They are sort of diamond shaped, and then those fit in the sides of the channel in the body is slanted the same way to make these guys fit in, and this clamps them in place. We'll leave that for another time since I'm working one-handed. So this set goes up to, I think, 7/8. It could go up to 1 inch, but those are the biggest ones I have dies for. Let's say, yeah, that says 7/8 on it. So, and this set came without any of the taps that should go in the fitted case. It did come with a tap wrench, but I have that out where I can use it when I'm doing tapping, which I do more frequently than thread cutting with dies. They got bought out along with a couple other companies and became Greenfield Tap and Die, and they made a Little Giant 2-piece die, which is very similar. It's just a slightly different shape to the body, but the you can see there's the 2 cutters, this guided nut on the back, and they came in. You saw there was a smaller size in that other box. There should be in here even larger dies, like was that 4.5 inches in diameter, and a larger die stock to go in there as well. I do not have that, but I had some extra dies, so I put them all in here to get them all in one place. So that is the Little Giant. And there were other methods of making 2-piece dies. These are from Wiley Russell, and if you look here, so obviously the die stock itself would hold these in place. The back plate that the 2 cutting pieces mount to has the guide built into it, and these have, you can see, let's see better on the screws. So one screw is square, it just holds them down, but this screw has a tapered head that fits into a tapered hole. So as you tighten down on the tapered screw, it forces this die open. So that's why you need the die stock to be holding it closed, but that allows you to adjust the size thread that you're cutting. Presumably, when it's clamped all the way down, when the pieces are all the way together, it's a little bit undersized. So that is, I thought I had one other set, but I cannot seem to find it. So that's all the different wacky ways I have to put threads on bars. Thanks and goodbye.